Good evening. Hey Joseph, where would you like to see the sunset from today? Goodbye, little room. Goodbye, horn. I'm walking through the compound. Last second sunset from Mexico, at least. I mean, I could show you some second sunsets in Indiana. They're going to be slightly different. This is a really beautiful view up here, where the iguana hangs out on the roof. Hi, iguana, what you doing? It's not so sure. Oops. Hello, crew. Check out the view. I'm gonna go up to the top of the hill and then I may walk all the way over there to the end of the beach. I haven't done that for a while. That'd be nice. I don't really know what I want to talk about this evening. I'm feeling kind of, I don't know, the apprehension of traveling. Does its lens, lens needs to be cleaned. Excuse me. Hi guys. There we go, we'll show that again. Yeah, that's all I was saying, was that I'm feeling the apprehension of traveling. And I wouldn't even say it's especially in this weird time of Corona. It's actually more just like, it's always this way before traveling for most people, even me, who's somebody who travels all the time. This feeling of, oh man, I have to go through this whole transition thing. Precursors. But I like the meditation hill, so I'm gonna go up there. I kind of like this idea. I'll walk up to the meditation hill and then I'll walk to the other end of the beach, up on the hill there. Oh, I did Qigong this morning with my Qigong boys. And then ate papaya. And then ran errands, giving the herbs that I had tinctured to the herbalist I know in town. Then I had breakfast at a very nice breakfast spot called Cafe Orale. Nice conversations about all sorts of things. You ever noticed people who didn't do marijuana when they were younger? When they get older, they need to be stoned all the time. I mean, if they like marijuana. Not everybody, of course, likes marijuana. But I always think it's funny, like, I guess it's similar with sex, too. Like, if you started sex when you were younger, you go through a phase and you kind of get over it. But that same thing happens if you start having sex at, like, the age of 50. You have to obsess over it for 20 years or something. Oh, look at this beautiful view. I just love the texture of the water and that color, the churning. Little secret rocks just below the surface. Wow, look at that. What is going on there? It's like there's 1,000 birds right over the surface of the water. I can't convey that. That is very strange. Wow. Oh well, I'm not really being able to convey it. It looks like there's a cloud of birds floating over the water. Huh? You're a psychedelic sensualist artist who doesn't need any plant help, huh? I don't know, are you really psychedelic? You strike me as being a little bit psychedelic, but maybe it's because you've got colors over your face. Sunset meditations are more my thing. Hey, there's different types of highs. Highs and lows. Sunset meditations. That's what we could do. You know, a simple inner smile. Did that work for you, Joseph? Did you try the inner smile meditation that time that I led the inner smile? I got a bit wordy, you know, I was trying to come up with a simple version of it. And, you know, despite myself, I got very complex. And then a few weeks later, a girl came to our Qigong group in the morning, and you know, she'd never done Qigong before, so I tried to introduce her to some movements and some concepts. And I thought I would just do like a simple version of the inner smile, but she was a nurse. So it was really great because I was able to use all these anatomy terms and I didn't have to explain them. She knew where all of her organs were. And it's so funny, you know, there was a period I went through in these 3 months that I've stayed here where I came up here all the time. And I just haven't very much for the last month. I don't know, like 2 or 3 times over the last month. It is really beautiful. Look at that. Crazy cloud textures. We had a little bit of rain yesterday during our talk. Anyway, when I make it over to the other one, where we have a longer view, over there. Goodbye, meditation point. Gloria's old house. Luis Espinosa Gonzalez. Goodbye, Playa Camarón. Yeah. Isn't it amazing? I mean, there's something so violent and beautiful about it, right? It's like there's something that's like peaceful and gorgeous and yet violent. If you wanted to go over there and cuddle. Olamana, I think it's just the season here. If you imagine the dry season is like winter. All of these will leaf out in the next few months when all the rains come. So some of these trees have leaves, but not very many. Most of these trees, if you see, it's not like there's some beetle killing everything. They're just sleeping for the dry season. I don't know if you ever lived in California. Yeah, I like that thought. I've often thought about that. That whole, it's not like Bjork came up with it, but that was the way I was introduced to it. That idea that if you dive off a cliff into the waves, then you can be sure that the waves will churn you up. I mean, you'll die, but it's, you know, it's kind of a nice idea to become one with the waves, one with the sea, as opposed to being put in a box. But again, like there's certain, if you become one with the earth, if that's your idea, that's a really beautiful period. Oh no, sorry, I was talking about California. If you ever lived in California, sorry, I'm like doing 2 concurrent threads here. If you ever lived in California, especially in like the middle of California, the summer, everything dies and turns brown and brittle, and it just looks like, you know, death. And that's the summer, and that was always very confusing to me. And then in the winter, it rained a lot, and there was sometimes snow, and everything became green. It was cold and green. I always thought that was very strange, but that, I eventually got used to it. And I think that's kind of the situation here as well, is that in what is our winter, December, January, blah, 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 up till now, is the dry season here. So everything just dies and goes dormant and waits. And then when the rains come, which supposedly start next month, but we did have a little rain yesterday. When the rains come, all these trees will leaf out. I've seen pictures of this place totally green. And there are a lot of trees that are feeling the spring coming, because there's like flowering trees. I can't really show you any, unfortunately, but I see some in the distance. Anyway, back to death. This is the beach of death. It's always appropriate to talk about death here. That some people like the idea of becoming one with the earth. You get buried into the earth. And some people want to be cut off from the earth in a box and preserved with lots of chemicals. But some people love the idea of, being put in a burlap bag and have a tree planted in you or something, which is a lovely idea for me. Or that idea of being immolated in fire. A lot of people are attracted to the idea of becoming one with fire. And then as far as becoming one with the sea, it would have to be somebody, apparently that's one of the myths about this place, is that they would push people's bodies off into the sea here, and the sea would just take it out, churn it up, take it out. That's one of the reasons this was called the beach of death. The bodies would float away. So it's a little trickier, how you become one with the sky, although many of us have heard that term sky burial. But I think that's more about being eaten by birds. They would do, there was some kind of torture devices. I think that's one of the names of a Catherine wheel, but I know a Catherine wheel is also like a stretching, twisting device, but where you can put somebody up in the sky and let them get eaten by birds. But if you do it not as a torture thing, but as this is the element that person would like to be dissolved in. This person would like to be dissolved in the sky. It's kind of a nice idea, right? But that's trickier. Being thrown into the sea, the rocks, and the sea would grind you up. Birds. You have to ask the birds. Hey, birds. Will you make me one with the sky? Lizards. Hello, lizards. This is the massage area. It's never being used for massage. Looks like somebody stole the mats on the ground. People walk away with things that aren't being used. I'm taking you down into this little cove. One cove to the other, baby. For some of you who have been in this cove with me other times, this gigantic stump has been picked up and twisted and twirled around. I do love the shape of it. I sat here and meditated on it once when it was in a completely different shape. It's amazing to me. The sand is coming back in a bit, but this little face is still visible. Hello, face. Are you an ancient face or a new face? We don't know. Anthony floating out in the sea. The rocks the iguanas hang out on. And Shambhala underneath. Oh, I guess I should point up to my room again. Goodbye, room. That was my room once. My last night sleeping there will be tonight. I don't know if I would ever stay at Shambhala again. There's often that feeling, again, with the woman who's running it right now, where it's like my existence is an imposition to her, as opposed to any kind of friendliness or even a professional, being, hospitable to a guest. None of that feeling here. And I know that in the past, people tell me it was a much nicer feeling. But she is not the kind vibe, yo. She is not the kind vibe. Here's a pretty flower. Last one. And then nopales. And now I can be naked because I am on the beach. Oh. The sarong comes off. Oh, make it go. Hola! Okay. Huh?
Tomorrow is my birthday.
Tomorrow is your birthday.
Come to my house at 9.
At 9 a.m.? Or 9
9 p.m.
Oh, now I'm leaving tomorrow morning instead of Saturday.
Oh, fuck.
No. Silly.
Tomorrow morning.
Tomorrow morning now. No. Sorry.
My significant other is there. Okay, friend. Maybe this is the last time I see you in this land. Will you come back?
Probably. I was just thinking, I don't know if I would ever stay at Shambhala again, unless Maria isn't working there in the future, because she's so unfriendly. But I would definitely come back to Zipolite. I've been so grateful for this quiet period, this time of just with less clutter, and silence. So I'm just so grateful for it. But I do think I'm leaving tomorrow. We'll see.
Tomorrow? Okay.
Yeah, that flight has been confirmed.
For tomorrow.
For tomorrow. We were just talking about it.
tomorrow.
Say, let's.
Yeah, I thought it was Saturday. I guess I was all spaced
No,
out.
it's Saturday. But my birthday is tomorrow.
Your birthday's tomorrow.
So
yeah.
tomorrow I wanted to invite all my significant others.
For a quieter party and
Yes.
a bigger party on
Yeah,
Saturday.
like you and 2 friends more that,
Yeah,
That
we're
would've
going to
been
invite
lovely.
like 4 people tomorrow.
that I like. But because you're not coming, I will not do it. It's just like
You don't need it. You don't need it. Forget it. What an idea.
So well, maybe
Well,
goodbye.
I look for, but maybe, I'll send you guys a picture of empty New York, although you've probably seen plenty.
Yeah.
And hopefully I won't be there very long, like till Wednesday or Thursday, and then heading to Indiana.
Okay.
But I'll let you know when I come back here.
Yes, please, when you come back.
And I hope you guys get to go to Vermont. Vermont, New Jersey
Yeah.
In July, I think.
soon. In July.
Yeah, in July,
crazy.
friend. Hasta luego.
Hasta luego. Much love.
Can I give you a kiss?
Of course you may.
Good friendship.
Ciao.
I like it to know you.
I'm very grateful to know you too. Thank you so much for being here. See, there's much love. There's much love. Yeah, it was all spaced out. I thought I was leaving Saturday. I guess my original flight was on a Saturday, and I was thinking about like the whole travel, and I would get in on a Sunday. And then when I rescheduled everything, I just forgot to replace the days in my head that I was actually leaving Friday instead of Saturday. And I'm going to be arriving into New York during Memorial Day weekend, which I guess means nothing when everybody's home all the time. But it means that I won't be able to go to the doctor and get my blood work done until Tuesday. So I won't get out of New York any sooner than probably Wednesday or Thursday. This is strange. The beach here, like all the soft sand, I don't know if it got carried away or if all these hard rocks got brought up here. This sand is all hard rocky right now. Hard rocky. The tide's pretty low right now. Ooh, lots of people out on the beach tonight. Whoa! Man, it is so nice to walk naked on the beach, you know? It's so nice. I was talking with somebody today about how nice it's been here because the locals, the Mexicans, let's just say, the natives even, because again, like most of these Mexicans that live here moved here to be a part of the tourist industry, not because their families are from here. They don't usually come out and hang out on the beach because there's so many naked Europeans and it makes them uncomfortable because it's just really not a part of their culture. But nor is it a part of American culture, really. So I guess most Americans who would work on a nude beach town, if we had such things in America, wouldn't feel comfortable hanging out with the nudists. Which is weird. Anyway, he was saying how nice it was to have the natives come out and enjoy the beach. And other people, they were talking about just how, I'm going to show this to you. Like when I arrived, this thing wasn't even here, and it's all been built in the last 3 months. It's certainly not finished, but it's really getting there. It's pretty amazing. Things keep happening even when the world is on pause. And my little boyfriend here, my 69-year-old boyfriend, has moved from the location he was in here to somewhere else. I can't find him. He puts all of his attention into trying to seduce someone who's, I think, just wants to be friends with him. Maul's playing the drums. Soundbox. Half-opened restaurants. Closed hotels. People have been sitting in the shade for hours today. He was there like 3 hours ago when I walked by here. I've had a very busy day. A feeling of completing things before going, but I feel like I'm packed. I feel like I have most everything in order. Yeah. You know, Joseph, I've had these conversations often with people about yoga because I led a naked yoga group in Brooklyn for 12 years. Dog. And they would say that they could not imagine doing yoga naked, that it would just feel terrible and uncomfortable to them. One of the people on the beach here, she was like, yeah, I could just never exercise with anybody else around when I'm naked. I don't understand that. Again, being naked to me was, I don't know, like some kind of revelation, some kind of amazing, I knew, like I had some ingrained childhood belief that it was wrong. I mean, I associate it with either a religious thing or just a cultural thing, but that it was wrong to be naked outside, and yet it was so pleasurable. I mean, this is way before I was sexual, when I was like 7 or something. Although I remember everything as being at 7 when I was a kid. Yeah, the first time I was naked outside, I was just amazed at how good it felt. And maybe it doesn't feel good to some people. Yeah, you know, you don't strike me as someone who goes to gay bathhouses, Joseph. But one of the things I've always found pretty amazing is they have, a lot of gay bathhouses will have gyms in them. They'll have workout equipment with weights, free weights, machines, stuff like that. And they always require clothing. I imagine it's an insurance thing. But I'm like, wow, what a missed opportunity to have to wear clothes at a gym when the whole rest of the space is clothing optional. And even that being said, most bathhouses, people walk around with towels around their waist or shorts on even. Which I've always thought was terrible, because if you could be naked, why wear clothes? But again, I think it's a normal. Oh, it's so beautiful. Look at that sky. The clouds just get nice and blue up there, but we have this. Bird. It's funny, I've had 2 meals today, which is generally more than I usually eat, but I find myself hungry again. Hungry. I'm glad I brought my bag with me. Maybe I'll go eat more. Reality of situations, the depth of weirdness. I talked to someone again real quick. But I left the empty containers in a green plastic bag in the massage area under Shambhala. You know that massage area? Okay. The massage area, and it's hanging in a green plastic bag. There's like 5 of them.
Okay. You don't want for traveling, chocolate, some pass?
I have too much. It's alright.
Yes?
Thank you. Yeah.
Okay.
I love your stuff, but I
Samosas?
Yes, that would be perfect. Wow. How much is that? Yeah.
1 in 30 or 2 in 50?
Okay, 1 second.
Hola. Bien, ¿cómo van las crepas? Cambio, yes, I see. I'm not sure. Papa.
I'll take 2.
Yeah. So, it's ready for the
Tengo ensalada de calabacita con queso
Yes?
Yes.
Okay.
Someday.
Okay.
Ah, gracias. Wow. That's just how it goes. Yeah, exactly. There's a nice thing about fraternizing with naked people. But again, a lot of bathhouses, you don't even get to hang out naked with people. Now the dogs are following me. Hola, perros. I have a crepe. Where's the crepe? It's very good. Man, this is really good. You gotta be careful when you're a manifesting generator and you say, I don't know why I'm still hungry. I've eaten twice today. And then 2 people show up offering you really good food. Look at the waves. I don't think this is the day to watch the sunset. I think I'm just walking. There's not going to be much sunset to see. I bought 2 samosas like 3 weeks ago. They were like 130 pesos, which is a little over $6. It's not a lot, but they were terrible. And these samosas that I just bought 2 for 50 pesos, which is maybe 250. They still don't taste like samosas. They're really good. Yeah, I can get closer to the waves for you, Joseph. I've been doing a lot of long beach walks lately. Back and forth to Mazunte. It was like a 3-mile walk, most of it along the beach. Yep, I'm naked. I'm eating. The movie tonight at the cinema is I Am Legend, which I watched recently and don't want to see again. It's not a night for watching a movie at the cinema. Dog. I'm eating samosas. Oh no. I just dropped a piece of paper that the samosa was wrapped in and caught it with my toes and picked it up. Picked it up with my monkey feet. Look at all the people hanging out. Well, Joseph, I couldn't walk the whole thing naked. This beach is a mile long, so walking down to the end and back, you can walk naked, yeah. That's 2 miles. A lot of people do it twice a day. The walk into Mazunte, the other beach town, is not a naked beach town. And a couple times you need to walk on the roads where you definitely can't be naked. But most of the beach is totally deserted, so you can be naked on those. Ooh. Nopales en la playa. And be careful about walking on cactuses. I said earlier today, and I've been walking a lot today. Earlier today, I picked up a sea urchin off the beach. It's a beautiful thing, a sea urchin. But I don't know why the hell it was in the middle of the beach. But yeah, it's quite amazing to be somewhere that I can walk naked like this. Again, my body weren't so unhappy with the heat rash thing, I probably wouldn't have been so moved to leave. But I also was reflecting today that, staying at Shambhala most of the last 3 weeks, there's been no angst. Very little angst. Anyway, it's been mostly a good time here. I just threw my trash in the trash can. Don't litter, kids. The urchins. Hola, perro. I don't know where David is today. Hi, David. I hope you enjoy this beach. I'm walking naked. Look at those silly murals. Here's some closer up rocks getting hit by the waves. Well, Joseph, I've already told my parents that I'm going to be naked in their backyard. They have 9 acres. But there is a pelican in the air. And in Indiana many years ago, 1999, I think, I was invited by a gay guy that I had met at the gay bar in downtown Indianapolis to go to a pagan gathering. And I believe there were parts of the land at the pagan gathering that were clothing optional. And there is at least one gay campground that I have known, or that I've heard of but never gone to, that's called Camp Buckwood, I think it's called. And I believe a lot of that is clothing optional. There used to be a clothing optional beach on Lake Michigan right above the Indiana border, but it got bought or sold or something and is no longer like that. But there are 2 guys who have a clothing optional farm where they have sex parties, but also just naked socializing, hanging out, so you can choose on how you want to relate to that. The reason I'm pausing here at these rocks is during the full moon, when the tides got really, really high, these rocks were completely covered with water, which I found kind of terrifying because I'm so used to seeing them at this level. And it was just amazing to me to see them see them completely covered with water. The tide swells, eating them up. The birds! Yep. Almost everybody on the beach has clothes on. No, I think like the best naked states in America are Vermont and Oregon and maybe California. I mean, you'd think California should be first, but it's not. It was once, maybe. But both Vermont and Oregon have a lot of like official naked areas where you can hang out. But there's nowhere in America that I know of that has hotels and commerce, you know, restaurants and grocery stores in a naked area that you can just live naked. I do remember once driving through Ohio. I went to the Serpent Mounds, if you've ever heard of that. It's like an ancient earthwork structure shaped like a snake on top of a ridge that is apparently a crater to either a methane lake explosion or an asteroid impact crater from maybe 6,000 years ago. We don't know much about those people. But when I was around there, I found advertisements for a family-friendly clothing optional campground, which I thought was pretty amazing. Yes, the ledges are very nice. Ledges are very, very nice. First time I went there was a guy with a kayak, and he let me use it. It was very nice to walk around in the woods and then hang out on the ledges and go swimming and then kayak out into the lake. That was just a really wonderful feeling. And I was under the impression there was a town underneath the water there. But since then, people have told me that that was that's just a myth. That there wasn't actually a town underneath the lake. Corona, California. Glen Eden. Frank, is Glen Eden gay or family friendly, or what is its story? Maybe I'll look it up someday. Corona, California. And let the ashes fly. Help me to name it. Help me to name it. Oh. Yeah, in Florida there are a lot. I don't know how many really, but in Florida there are many. Clothing optional, like retirement community things, or clothing optional trailer parks, but they are all mostly straight. Yeah, and again, like Joseph, you're not a hypersexual person. Oh, wow. Oh, that's what you're saying, Frank. Nude bank, nude restaurant, nude grocery store. Oh, well. Joseph, does your nudist camp in Rhode Island, does Dyer Woods have a grocery store? Can you stay there and never have to put on clothes and still feed yourself? Yeah, I know a man who's a friend of a friend, a David of a David, who lives at a clothing optional, a nudist colony in Florida. But he says that there's almost no gay people there. He's one of the only gay people. And so he lived there with his husband, but his husband passed away. So he says it's kind of hard to be there now that he's like the only gay in the village. That's, you know, it's one of those things that when you have the world and you're used to being gay with gay people and gay friends and etc., and then you go back into being closeted because you're the only one, it just doesn't feel so good. But you know, it's really hard to find everything we want. Everything we want. We often have to settle for what we can enjoy in this moment. You can get groceries delivered. Well, nowadays, yes. Nowadays we could. Close yesterdays, we could get everything delivered. Maybe someday again we shall. Very nice. A sense of community. Hola, bebe.
Record,
I'm not recording you because you're naked.
but I want
I want to be respectful of your privacy.
I don't have privacy.
Oh, no privacy. Are you going to the movies? Yep. Enjoy. I have to say, although there's nowhere that I've been invited to be this evening, although I was just invited to be somewhere tomorrow evening, if I hadn't have been so spaced out about when I was actually leaving. It has been nice to run into all these people who are grateful to see me. Ooh. Somebody's getting a massage on the beach. That's so nice. There's people hanging out at the playa de amor. Oh, there are flowers in the trees on the hillside. I don't know if they're really reading very well here. Not really, nah. These trees are flowering. They almost look like a magnolia. You know, the flowers are coming out before the leaves do. The tide's going down right now, so plenty of place to swim here and sit on the sand. Oh, yes. Anyone from out of state, and Rhode Island's pretty small. So I guess that's kind of smart because it kind of, you know, keeps things in the wraps. But Joseph, if you were to go there, could you stay there? Or do you have to come back and forth across the border? I suppose if you could go there and just stay there, then you could just go there and just stay there and be naked around other people. It'll be interesting for me to go to Indiana and quarantine. But I'll be quarantining with my sister, so we'll see what that's like. A lot of people coming down the hill, which is why I haven't gone up yet. And I'm toying with the idea of going down here and swimming some more, which is kind of nice. The water's very frothy. There'll be lots of stuff floating in it. Oh. Well, right, you'd have to stay for 2 weeks. I mean, could you stay for the whole summer? If you went there, could you just stay for the whole summer and just live there? Because obviously every time you leave and come back, you'll have to keep quarantining. So that's what I was just asking. Obviously you wouldn't, or you would have already left, I'm sure. You you know the choices. That if you wanted to, you could have gone, but then you'd have to stay there. You couldn't come back to Connecticut. Just go. Just go. Oh man, ankle's sore now. That happens. Walking in the sand for miles and miles. I'm tired. It's good. It's good to walk a lot and get tired. Because tomorrow I'm gonna be in an airport. Wow. See, that almost looks like rain out there. No, Barry, I'm leaving tomorrow. This is my last night. Well, I guess tomorrow night I'll be in Mexico too, but I'll be in an airport. Really beautiful, actual beautiful, seriously beautiful. I like it a lot. That's true. The social aspect would be so much less. That's one of the nice things about the place I am, of course, is that there's been some social aspect. Comes and goes. Over here. You can hear me okay. I'm gonna do this for me, and you can join along if you like. I'm going to lead this little meditation. You can listen to the wind and the waves, watch the shaking screen. Of this sunset view. With the heavy clouds. But when the sun does go down, it will go down through underneath that cloud layer and we'll be able to see it. So, we've got about 20 more minutes. body wants to move. Sit down or lay down in a way that you feel like you can relax. And take time to embody in your body. Feeling either your butt on the chair, your back on the chair, your back on the bed. Pay attention to a point of contact and allow yourself to relax into it. Barry, are you in San Miguel de Allende right now? Close your eyes and just think of someone you love. The feeling of seeing someone you love who you haven't seen for a while. And let it bring up that sensation of a smile on your face. You're happy to see them. I always like to imagine like you're walking down the street and you see them and you're just so happy to see them and you, however you greet them. Oh, it's so nice to see you. I love you. How are you doing? And see if you can feel that sensation of gratitude and joy. And let it spread to your heart, to your face, your eyes, your mouth. Take some time to just really get a sense of what that feeling feels like. Just let that sensation spread throughout your whole body in a completely non-intellectual way. Just imagine, just feel the sensation of joy, gratitude, greeting. Spread it to your knees, your feet, your back, your belly, your hands, your toes. Anywhere it wants to go, anywhere you can imagine in your body, you can put a little bit of attention there. And you can just let this warm, happy gratitude sensation spread into you. And if you like, you can carry those words of hello, it's so good to see you. How are you doing? I love you. Hello, I love you. It's so good to see you. How are you doing? And again, if you say that to your like belly or your heart or your lungs, like see if you can listen and see what it says. What's it feel like to smile into your body and feel the response? You can just stay there. And if you want to, you can go a little more specific and smile into the heart. See if you can picture your heart beating. The shape of your heart, the location, the warmth, the sound. Say hello, I love you. Thank you for your tireless work. How are you doing? And just listen. Shine gratitude and love and listen. How are you doing, heart? let's turn to our lungs. Smile into our lungs. Hello, lungs. How are you doing? I love you. Thank you for your tireless work. Love you, John. Thank you for sharing your love and joy and appreciation. Can you see the sun? It's blown out, of course. But there it is. Smile into the lungs. Smile into the kidneys. You know where your kidneys are. You can imagine them at the bottom of your lungs. Bottom of your rib cage and your back. Again, they're constantly working, and you love them and you're grateful. How you doing, kidneys? I love you. Thank you. And then you can think of your liver, another very important organ. Hey, liver, how you doing? I love you. How you doing? Thank you so much. Listen to your liver. Give happiness and joy and kindness to your liver. Softness. That sun, it's so pretty. And you can think of all your digestive organs. You can picture your whole belly and just smile into your stomach, small intestine, large intestine, gallbladder, urinary bladder, penis. I love you. Thank you for all the work you're doing. See if you can feel your belly, all those digestive organs. Gratitude. And then picture your whole skeleton. Your whole skeleton. You can think of your skull, your spine. You can count each of your vertebrae if you have an anatomy mind like that. Picture your rib cage, all the bones of your arms, fingers, wrists, hips, legs. Just spend some time going one by one through your bones or picturing all of them at the same time, smiling, filling them with light, warmth, joy, and appreciation. How you doing, Bones? Thanks, Bones. I appreciate you. I love you. red blood cells completely. So all these delicious plasma. Think of all your muscles. Smile at all your muscles. Thank you for all the great work you do, muscles. I love you. Smile at all the smile at all your skin. Love you, skin. Thank you, skin. Smile at all your hair. Wherever you have hair. Thank you, hair. I love you. Then you go back internally and smile at your brain, your whole entire nervous system, your spinal column, all of your nerves. Just smile into that beautiful, amazing electrical network in your body. Smile at your whole lymph system. Oh, thank you, lymph system. Smile at all your glands, your pineal, pituitary, thyroid, thymus, mammaries, testicles, ovaries. You got both, maybe. Cowper's glands, prostate. I love you, glands. Thank you. Smile at the sun. Smile at the clouds. Smile at the wind. Smile at the water. Smile at your eyes. Thank you, eyes. Smile at your tongue. Thank you, taste. Smile at your lips. Oh, thank you, sense of touch. Smile at your nose. Thank you, smell. Smile at your ears. Thank you, hearing. Then you can just picture your body as a whole, maybe within the room, within the city, within this bay, on this planet. Just smile, be grateful. Thanks for existing. For this short period of time we exist, we appreciate it. As the sun sets on today, in this beautiful place, and whatever beautiful place you're in right now, be grateful for. Thank you so much. I appreciate everybody who has donated and supported me, my time here, and everybody who feels like they've benefited from these videos and all the talks I've done. It's been a joy to share them, share this beautiful place. I'm always grateful to share the goodness of my life. Beings that enjoy it. Hope you have a lovely evening, whatever it is you do. And I look forward to seeing you again soon, whatever that looks like. Thank you, Tony. Love you. Thank you, Joseph. It's very windy here. My hair is still wet from swimming, so it's not blowing around. My beard looks nice. Much love. Good night.